Welcome back to the Glacier, guys. I'm here with my co-host,
Joey.
And today, honestly, in the sports world, there's not a whole lot going on as opposed to like the past episodes, but there's still a decent amount.
Yeah, it's definitely probably the most dry part of the sports world.
I would say
every year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides baseball, every sport is kind of in like the downer days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess basketball sort of picking up because it's the end of the regular season coming up. But
same with hockey, but like I don't know, if your team is like not in it or right around those playoff spots, like say your team's a top seed, you're like these games. I mean, they kind of matter just for seeding.
Yeah.
And then if you're out of it, you're like, well, this is it. But
and even if your team's in it. For
like
the most
both
part,
of ours, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, it's kind of like, I don't know, you're kind of just in limbo, kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. But it's not like late enough for where you're like peak
Too
interest.
scared,
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
Exactly. But I'd say the most exciting season right now has got to be baseball by far.
Oh yeah, I mean it's kicking. It just kicked off pretty recently. It's the sample sizes are still pretty small for most teams, but it's like enough to see like the potential, or if a team like may just not be as good as people thought or something like that.
Right. Yeah, it's still way too early. I mean, as White Sox fans, we've seen a lot of glimmers of hope and some struggles so far, but I don't know. It's still too early to kind of tell where every team's at.
Yeah, I mean we've been like somewhat inconsistent. We're sitting at 9-9 right now, a game out of first place. I think we're doing just fine. I mean, in the first series of the game, of the season, we faced the Angels, who kind of came out hot, and then we faced a Mariners team who was actually doing a lot better than people thought.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean, we've had technically a tough schedule. Everyone we've played has been over 500. Like when they're not playing us. So
I saw on, I think it was Twitter, that we've had the hardest or second hardest schedule to this point.
Yeah, judging by like how the other teams we've played have done like against other teams besides us, I think so. Honestly, I mean, you may not expect a team like the Mariners to be doing that well, but I mean they've came out really hot. So it kind of proves that we're pretty good if we beat them 2 out of 3 games when they're on a hot streak.
Yeah,
like
no
that.
doubt. The Mariners, I mean, if you look at the standings, they're 1 game out of first place in the entire AL right now.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it is early, that's still pretty impressive.
Exactly. And the team they're 1 game out of first place of is the Red Sox, who we just played.
Yeah, there you go. And they've been surprising a decent amount of people, I'd say, this year.
Yeah.
And the Yankees, man, what's going on there?
I
I mean, I'm kind of happy to see it just as a sports fan, but like, man.
I think eventually their offense will get hot and it'll carry them for a bit. But yeah, the rotation's definitely questionable. I think I don't know if they'll win the division. It's gonna be tough. I think Tampa Bay is always gonna be around.
Oh yeah, we've talked about them.
Yeah, I don't know how much sustainability the Red Sox really have in all reality, but I mean we'll have to see. The pitching staff for the Red Sox is a little iffy also, and the bullpen is just, I don't think it's that great.
No, it's not.
Unless their
Definitely
offense
not.
can just carry them, I don't really see them sustaining first
And
place.
for an entire season, that's extremely unlikely.
Yeah, exactly. The Blue Jays have been hit with injuries early, so they might be able to recover once like their team's fully healthy. Besides Kirby Yates, because he's out for the year, but you know, yeah. I mean, I think the White Sox will be just fine. I mean, they've had a lot of bad defensive plays, like
Very bad, yeah.
like really fundamental things that you just can't mess up. Like Yasmani Grandal's had like 3 or 4 catcher's interference in the first month. I mean, I know he's notoriously known for doing that very often, but I mean, like, I don't know, that just can't happen.
Yeah, it can't happen. And then outside of that, I'd say our starters are doing pretty well this year, and then the bullpen surprisingly has been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I think they'll just be. I think they'll be just fine, to be honest with you. Because coming into the season, that was probably my second. I was probably the second most confident on any aspect of our team in the bullpen. I think I was most confident in the lineup and then the bullpen. The starters just came out and kind of picked them up pretty well, though. I think.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And the lineup, I think they're doing just fine. Honestly.
Yeah, they came out. They were a little slow in some games, a little flat. But it's pretty normal. I mean, there's a lot of guys who don't like playing in the cold because they don't like it at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't blame them. I mean, they're coming out and playing in 30-degree weather. It's not ideal.
Yeah. No, it's never ideal.
So once it starts to warm up and the bats get hot, I think that's when we'll start to go on some streaks.
And interestingly enough, we saw like right from the jump, Mercedes and Eaton were kind of like the hot bats to start the season, which is very surprising. I mean, it's nice though, because when like our superstar players aren't playing up to the caliber that they will be probably later in the season, just to have those two guys kind of honestly carry us for a few games, that was huge.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of performances you want to see out of your role players in quotation
Quote
marks.
unquote, yeah.
Yeah, I think because when your team's struggling, I think you'd rather see your star players not doing well than the guys that you may not expect to do well, like in general. So, I mean, because your stars are going to eventually perform. So, if they can, I mean, well, as we saw yesterday, Abreu and Moncada started to get hot, and Timmy's been hot the whole year so far. I mean, once that starts getting going, I think all the other guys will be doing well too.
Yeah, it was really nice seeing Abreu kind of come out. That was his first really big game yesterday. Well, he's already had a few Grand Slams early in the season, but that was kind of like I'd say his most consistent game was yesterday.
Definitely. I mean, I think he's a notoriously slow starter, so I wasn't ever really worried about him. But a guy like Moncada had some really bad at bats in the beginning of the season, so it's good to see him hit a few balls hard yesterday.
Robert's been great this year.
Yeah, he's his strikeout percentage is around league average right now, which is something you really like to see from a guy who's in his second year and still pretty much figuring out what guys want to do to him. I mean, like he's still I guess he's played like a full season technically, but I mean it was only a third of a season basically.
Yeah, full season because last season was shortened due to COVID.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people kind of arguing how Grandal is kind of coming off the bench every other game and we're paying him so much money. What do you think about that? I
think they're kind of just trying to save him a little bit. I mean, he's a guy who honestly usually likes to catch more games than like most catchers in the league nowadays. He catches about like 120 a year usually. I think they're just kind of trying to save him a little bit, knowing that we have a solid young catcher in Zach Collins, and he does DH sometimes too also. So,
Grandal,
yeah. I think it'll be all right. I think more later in the season when the games get more intense and the standings are closer, I think he'll be playing more.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Abreu was DHing yesterday, correct?
Yeah, they had Yermin at first, and then Vaughn in left.
Okay, gotcha.
Just to give Abreu an off day.
Do you think we'll see that kind of more often based off of the success that they saw, or do you think that was just kind of coincidence?
I don't know, because Yermin made a kind of a simple error. Like Magical threw a ball low at from second base, and he didn't catch it, but I mean, it was pretty routine for a guy who plays first base a lot, but he doesn't, so he made that mistake. So I don't know if Tony lost any trust due to that or not, but I'm not sure. He also got pulled from the game because Tony sensed bad vibes from him. Like he wasn't doing very well, so he wasn't very confident. So we pulled him. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. They might just play Vaughn there and then put like Leori or Engel when he comes back. So who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we're fine though so far, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they'll be just fine.
I saw some fans kind of freaking out after the first series. I'm like, dude, what? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's baseball. It's you can't live and die with every strike.
No.
There's gonna be a lot of ups and downs in a long season.
Yeah, no doubt. On the other side of town, the Cubs, man. I mean, obviously we're publicly not Cubs fans, but I honestly kind of feel bad for their fans this year. I mean, their offense is getting off to like a historically bad start. Yeah,
I think that I don't know. They started off pretty slow, but I think there's still hope for them to.
Yeah, no doubt.
For them to be all right. I think. I mean, Brian started out pretty well. Jock Peterson, I mean, he's off to an awful start, but I think he could definitely be a lot better than usual. And I mean, Javi Javi's kind of inconsistent. I don't know. It's weird with him. He'll have these little stretches where you feel like he's doing like really well, but then like he'll just have like a few at bats where you're just like, what are you doing?
What are you doing exactly? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Rizzo's doing all right to start off the season. I think eventually the bats may be able to get hot, and then they can start doing well because their rotation actually hasn't been too bad so far.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're sitting at 7-9. I mean, like we keep bringing up standings, it's early and everything, but they're in pretty good shape right now, standings wise at least.
Yeah, I think they can. I think they'll definitely be all right because the Reds started off hot. I mean, I don't really have too much faith in them, honestly. The Cardinals, they'll probably always be around just because they're a pretty pesky team. Yeah. And then the Brewers, I don't know how much sustainability they really have, honestly. I'm not really a big believer in them because they're just kind of I don't know. Corbin Burns is off to a really good start. Broke the record for most strikeouts to start a season without any walks. He got to 40 at least. I don't know if it's still going or not, but
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have much faith in the back end of the Brewers rotation. Not saying that the Cubs have a great one either, but I think their offense is definitely better than the Brewers.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I mean, we're just even the Sox got off to a little bit of a slow start offensively, so the Cubs should be fine. They have experience and they have the star power there on the offense, and they should be able to pick it up. And they're sitting 2.5 games out of first place right now. It's like it's so early. It's not a big deal. And the Pirates, I mean, I don't know. They're not going to do anything this year, to be honest.
No, yeah, they're probably going to lose around 100, like over 100 games most likely, and hope they get the number 1 pick.
To go back to the White Sox really quickly, I've kind of escaped my mind that Rodon just threw a no-hitter.
Oh yeah,
that was should have been
a while ago now.
Should have been a perfect game, but we'll take a no-hitter. That's huge for Rodon, you know.
Yeah, it's great for the confidence of him and the team. To go out and be dominant like that, I think that's the kind of thing that can build your confidence for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
honestly.
no doubt.
I mean, you could see it yesterday. He was pretty. Besides walking 5 guys, I believe, he was pretty dominant out there. I mean, he didn't really, besides the Luplow homer, he really didn't give up any hard hit balls.
Yeah, and he got out of a pretty sticky situation. I think he was in the game when they had sacks packed, no outs, I'm pretty sure. And I think we escaped that with only giving up 1 run. He looked really good, struck out 2 in a row in that inning.
Yep.
You could just tell after that no-hitter his confidence is just it's way up.
The stuff looked good. He got put in a bad situation with the Yermin error and then the catcher's interference back to back. And then he found a way to battle back. I mean, he definitely had a stressful outing yesterday.
No doubt.
That's the result to bad defense. You can put a lot more pressure on your pitcher than you have to. He was at 100 pitches in the 5th inning. I mean, luckily he was able to get out of it, but I mean, I don't think that's like a good way to win, though.
No, it's not, definitely.
Like if it wasn't if it wasn't for the offense coming through and hitting, I don't know, like 4 home runs, I think. Like that's not a pretty game.
Yeah, no, that's definitely winning ugly.
Yeah,
some may say. The Dodgers-Padres series, that was really good.
Yeah, that was definitely the best series of the year so far. I mean, I don't know. It felt like postseason baseball.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Just with the energy and everything. What was the one walk-off? I forgot. What happened? It was like a weird kind of walk-off thing. I forgot what happened exactly.
Oh, I think. Are you talking about when the Padres walked it off? I believe. Yeah, because it was in Petco. So,
let's see.
I think. I know there was some beef going on at one of the last game of the series with Clayton Kershaw and Jurickson Profar. But
maybe there wasn't a walk-off.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the Dodgers and extras one time, or one of the games, I think it was the first game, they broke it open in like the 10th or something like that. Well, I know that it was kind of like a back and forth game. Like Hosmer took the lead for them. And
Yeah.
there was a bunch of stuff going on in that series.
Mhm.
Like it felt like every big player on each team did something like crazy.
Oh yeah, I know. It was so awesome to see, and I don't know. The Dodgers are sitting at 14-4. I mean, they have to be one of the most complete teams we've seen in recent MLB history.
Yeah, they're kind of I mean, they're just gonna mow down teams most of the time. That like you're gonna go to Dodger Stadium. You're gonna expect to just either win one or get swept.
Yeah,
that's
honestly,
all it is.
Yeah.
Because they're just gonna be taking 2 out of 3 all year. I mean, and then it's like clockwork, honestly, at this point. I mean, yeah, the rotation is just so filthy. It's just unfair.
And their lineup too. It's just
exactly.
I mean, completely solid. Their whole team's solid. They have a great manager. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
They like yesterday. I mean, they go out there. They only score 1 run, but Julio Urias comes out and throws 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 11 Ks.
Yeah,
on 89 pitches.
It's absurd.
Yeah, and that's
Actually absurd.
And he's a back end guy for them.
Yeah.
He's like their, I don't know if they call him the 4th or the 5th, but either way, that's
And he's
not
still a
very
great
fair.
pitcher. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know. It's awesome to see. I mean, you could kind of throw the White Sox rotation in there with them too. You know, like
Yeah.
But I'd say the Dodgers at this point definitely more established.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Because
don't
they
know,
have like guys that are there. They have like David Price out of the bullpen who could easily be a starter,
Mhm.
and Tony Gonsolin and guys like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's scary, but like I feel like the Dodgers are a hard team to hate though. You know, because how much they've been through the past 5+ years, the whole Astro cheating scandal. Like
Yeah.
when they won last year, I'm not even a Dodgers fan, but I was just genuinely happy for them.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like usually when a team's good for that long, because they've been good for a while.
Mhm.
Like people like tend to hate them just because. But I don't know. I don't get that vibe from them.
I don't either, and I don't see that like around baseball, like fans of other teams being like,
No.
oh, the Dodgers have a super team or whatever you want to say. I mean, they kind of just, I
It's
don't
kinda
know.
there.
Yeah, yeah, they're just great, and people accept that, and I mean that's how it should be, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Outside of these teams, I mean, I don't think anything too out of the ordinary. I mean, we touched on
No.
the Yankees briefly. It's kind of nice to see them struggling a little bit, just to show that you can't just come out and really buy a team. But I think by the end of the season, I mean, they'll at least be a wild card team.
Yeah.
I think.
There's some slow starts happening. Like the Twins are 6-10, the Astros are 7-9.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it's still early. The Blue Jays 7-10. A lot of people were hyped up about them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Braves will definitely be a lot better than they are right now. But
Yep.
only 3 games under 500. Nothing too crazy.
I think they dropped. Excuse me. I think they dropped their first 4 games or something.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Like
Yeah.
I don't really see that keeping up.
No, I
They're
don't
too
either.
good. Like that lineup's too nasty. They got
Mhm.
They had some really good starters out there too. So
The Mets have only played 12 games. That's kind of odd.
yeah, it's because of the original cancellation of their games because of the Nationals or whatever getting a few COVID cases.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yep.
But I mean, hopefully that's not a trend that keeps up. Those continual cases that would kind of mess up the season a little bit.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I hope not. That should do it for baseball right now. I mean, things are looking up for the White Sox, especially. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, too early to overreact or anything.
No doubt. Kind of in a season where there isn't a lot of time, the Blackhawks have not been playing up to par, to say the least. Especially now. They started out the season super hot. One of the best teams in the league, and we are sitting at 6th in the division. And with hockey this year, there's 4 divisions, 8 or 9 teams per. No. Actually, let's see. One division has 7 teams. The other 3 have 8 because with the expansion Vegas team, there's now an uneven amount of teams in the league. Blackhawks are sitting at 6th out of 8 spots though in the Central, and only the top 4 from each division make the playoffs. And we're playing Nashville right now, and Nashville has that last spot, and we just got beat up by them the other night. So
Yeah, I
don't know, man.
Yeah, it's the tone the tone on this podcast from the beginning of the season, which started off kind of like, well, before the season started, we were like, or well, not. I don't know if it was before, but it was like when we first started like recording and stuff. I think we were like a little like iffy on them, and then we were like, oh, I mean, maybe they're good, and then now we're just like,
There's kind of reality setting in a little bit.
Yeah.
We have a young team, man, but there's just like lack of experience, boneheaded mistakes. This is Lankinen's first year as a starter. He kind of got thrown into this role, so he's been struggling a little bit, you know, and that's I feel like that's normal.
But imagine if like Lankinen wasn't here.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and we had Malcolm Subban, and I forgot what the Delia was the other.
Yeah.
That would have been brutal. And Subban's had 2 shutouts this year, but outside of those games, he hasn't been great.
Yeah. Which is what you come to expect from a guy who's not supposed to start every day.
But right now, we have a game in hand on the Predators, so essentially we're like 3 points behind them, but we're actually 4 points behind them. And there's only 10 games left. So if we don't, I say we got to win like at least 7 out of these next 10 games to make the playoffs.
Yeah, probably.
We have to win these 2 games against the Predators, and if we lose to them, especially in regulation, I don't see a world in where we make the playoffs, and that's just unfortunate to say, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they're definitely in a little bit of a desperation mode, which is what you never want to say.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to figure something out.
They made like 3 or 4 moves right at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Just like kind of smaller players moving around, but it was kind of like half the moves were for players now, half were for future draft picks. I was kind of, I don't know. I feel like even as an organization, we're a little confused about what to do right now.
Yeah. It feels like they've been stuck in the middle for a while now.
Because I think before the season that the front office, I don't even think they were expecting to be in this position, to be honest with you. Like, we're kind of surprisingly playing above what we were expected to do, which is nice for fans, but for the front office, it's kind of like, well, do we want to make some trades to kind of see if we could win now during the season, or if we're still planning for the future? And some of those trades definitely were for the future, as we saw. We got multiple draft picks, but then we also got some players, so it's like, I don't know. I hope they make a push as a fan to the playoffs, because you never want to see your team tank on purpose. Like, it doesn't matter how bad they are.
Definitely.
And the Blackhawks haven't been that bad this year. They're sitting at right around 500. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I kind of have a bad feeling, but I'm trying to keep my hope up. 10 games left. You never know what's going to happen.
You got to catch fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like we're saying the exact same thing for the Bulls.
Yep, they are almost identical in the spots that they're at right now.
We first started the pod, and we were like all like, oh, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're like a decent team. They're fun to watch. They're young. They do some exciting things.
New coach.
Yeah, and then we get really excited when they get Vucevic. Then they play with Vucevic. Goes downhill, and then
very fast.
Yeah, and then now it's like, man, are we even getting in the play-in?
Yeah,
like people were talking like 5th seed.
Yeah,
when we got.
Yeah, because I remember we were right around 500 when we got Vucevic, and we're like, all right, this is like what we need right now. We could maybe get a 6 seed, 5 seed.
Yeah,
and now we're tied for the last spot of the play-in with the Washington Wizards. I think, dude, if we make the play-in and we have to play like the Heat or somebody, we're not even gonna make the actual playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel very confident, to say the least.
No. This is like, I feel much more confident in the Blackhawks just because of, I don't know, we have more experience just as a roster and everything. But like, you look at this Bulls team, and I mean, what happens actually if we make the playoffs? You know what I mean?
Get smoked.
We're even if we make the play-in, okay, we're in as the 6th seed or whatever you want to call us. We have to play Philly or Brooklyn. I mean,
good luck.
The best we're taking out of that game or out of that series is literally one game.
Yeah, no.
The very best we're taking is one game.
I don't know. I mean, if we're gonna have Denzel Valentine coming in the second unit, in the playoffs, I don't have much confidence. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the depth on this team at all.
No.
I think it's really exposed itself when we haven't had guys like Levine or something like that.
Right.
Because that's when you need some more bench points than you may usually get.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. It's I mean, I think I'm just kind of anticipating the offseason at this point. I hate to say it, but that's just kind of how it is.
I think the best thing for this team would be to not make the playoffs, but
Yeah.
because we're in a play-in position, I don't know exactly what we want to do, you know?
I know. And then our pick is top 4 protected, so we would have to get a top 4 pick to even have our pick. So I don't know. It's kind of tough, but we would have to like literally lose out, and I don't even know if that top 4 pick is like viable, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's tough. I don't know. They're kind of stuck in limbo, but I'm just kind of like excited to see if they're gonna get like what they're gonna do as far as Laurie goes. I know he's probably gone, but like what are they gonna do to replace him? And like, is there any way they can free up cap space or something like that? Because they need a point guard.
Yeah. Kobe's
good, but I don't think
he's so
he'll
much
ever-
better off the bench. You know what I mean?
Him and Zach just don't play well together, so I don't
No.
know if they'd be looking to trade him or if they want to just keep him off the bench. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
But they definitely need more bench depth. I like Garrett Temple, but I think he's a free agent. Thad Young's a free agent. Laurie is a restricted free agent. Or no, I don't know if they tendered him or not. But either way,
I still think like Alonzo Ball at the point would be.
that'd be decent.
Yeah.
I think if we do that and then sign a very solid player off the bench, I'd be cool with that. Maybe get Thad Young back on a cheaper deal for like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I'd be definitely cool with that,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Because he definitely likes it here, and all the players like him, so
Mhm.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, same. But again, both these teams that play in the UC kind of stuck in the same limbo.
Yep.
I don't know. I have more confidence in the Blackhawks in the playoffs, even though technically speaking, the Bulls are in a quote unquote playoff spot right now, and the Blackhawks aren't. But I don't know. I just it's frustrating being a fan of these two teams
Yeah.
right now.
I hate to say it, but I feel like the Blackhawks are like they could more easily fluke out a win in the playoffs.
Oh
than
yeah,
than the
they
Bulls can.
they could be like I don't know. I was gonna make like a San Francisco Giants reference. You know how they would win and
Just
then they would
scrap
just
it out.
miss the playoffs the next year, and then
Yeah.
they'd come back and be like, we're gonna win it all again. Like if the Blackhawks ended up making a run to like the conference finals or something, I honestly wouldn't be too surprised, just because like they've been on weird hot streaks this year and everything, but
Yeah.
just with the way the NBA is and how the playoffs go and how there's honestly not a lot of upsets, I'd say if you're looking at the 4 major sports, basketball playoffs, there's
most predictable
most predictable by far.
because it's a stars league. So
By
like
far.
you just look at who has the best stars with the best complementary pieces, and then there you go.
Yeah, it's annoying kind of.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
I
probably
wish-
my least favorite playoffs to watch,
Yeah.
but
It's because LeBron.
yeah.
LeBron just owns one side of the league for his whole career.
Yeah.
So it gets pretty easy at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think like a team like the Brooklyn Nets is just kind of gonna run the East anyway. So it's
Mhm.
like I don't know. I don't even. I hate to say it, but I really like don't even care that much if they make it, because it's like what are they? What's their upside? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the Hawks like actually have a chance to win a series if they
Yeah.
get in there.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, as a fan, like I said, I want them to make the playoffs, but I think the best thing for this team would be to tank if they could somehow without making it too obvious. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Another one last NBA thing. James Harden got announced that he's out indefinitely, but
Oh, really?
yeah, but I think he'll be back by the playoffs.
Yeah.
They just kind of.
I
don't know.
swear these like superstars nowadays, they're just like, I need a little time off. We could just say I'm out with
Yeah.
something.
The 3 Nets players have played like 7 games together, I think, total.
Yeah.
So, but I think they'll be all right.
KD just got hurt too, right?
Yeah, but I think they're all like fine. I think
Mhm.
Steve Nash said that he should be back by the playoffs, if not sooner. So.
Everybody, when are they gonna be back? Oh, they'll be back for the playoffs. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of. What did Kyrie say? They're player coaches. I'm pretty sure he came out and he
Something
said
like
that. I mean, it's kind of true at this point. Steve Nash's first-year head coach, he's kind of just there.
Yeah, they're like buddies.
He's like one of the boys,
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a very weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, but I mean, that's the kind of league the NBA is. It's run by the players.
Yeah. That's truly the only league that's run by the players like that.
Yeah, exactly.
We can move on to some football news.
Yeah, definitely.
Two pretty big historically known names, Alex Smith and Julian Edelman, both retiring from football.
Both very different starts. Also, Alex Smith, #1 pick in the draft. Julian Edelman, 7th round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, and they both end up in football lore, I guess.
Yeah, they're gonna be Hall of Fame or not. We could get into that discussion a little bit, but I mean, both those players, by people around our age, even a little older, they should be remembered for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I think both of them are very the perfect Hall of Very Good.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even know, like, I don't know. I don't see an argument for them being in the Hall of Fame. Honestly,
we could tap into Alex Smith first. So
Okay.
Little resume thing. Comeback Player of the Year, obviously this past year. 3-time Pro Bowler. 2017 passer rating leader. Yeah, those last couple of years he was with the Chiefs, he was actually a very good quarterback.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know if that's more of a system thing, or I know Alex Smith was always a pretty decent quarterback, but let's see.
Yeah.
199 touchdowns, 109 interceptions, pretty good ratio. I mean, it's above average for a quarterback. 35,000 passing yards, 62.6 completion percentage, 86.9, basically 87 passer rating. I agree completely. I think he's in the Hall of Really Good.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason that he needs to be in the Hall of Fame or that he could make a case for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He was a really good quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's perfectly fine, and I don't know. I feel pretty confident in that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I like he had like those notations that he was like a check down quarterback, like with the Chiefs. Everyone always called him like check down Alex and stuff. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was just very good. He never lost you games. He did his job. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's definitely nothing wrong with it. And he was only a Pro Bowler with the Chiefs, which is kind of interesting because a lot of people remember him for his start with the 49ers.
Yeah, he was on some really good 49ers teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had one of the best comebacks in sports like history, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt.
Coming back from that leg injury.
As great as that story is, that's not an accomplishment that's going to get you in the Hall of Fame.
No,
unfortunately.
definitely
but
not.
yeah, I mean it was awesome to see him win Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, did Andrew Luck win in 2018 or 2019?
The comeback player of the year.
Yeah, probably 2018, right?
I honestly don't
I can't remember. But regardless of that means 2 of the last 3 winners of the award just retired after they won that award. I mean, Andrew Luck literally won Comeback Player of the Year. He was out with an injury. They're like, all right, he's back, and he just retires. And the Alex Smith retiring, when he retired, I would say that's not as surprising, just because he's older and the injury was much worse than anything that Luck sustained. But
and he may have not had a starting job, like being able to find one. So that could have been why too, because he doesn't want to sit there and be a backup quarterback. He'd rather just be at home with his family.
Yeah,
because he's made probably more than enough money. He can think of. So
no doubt. But it's kind of interesting to see that few of the last Comeback Player of the Year is like, well, I had a good comeback season and I'll leave on a high note, I guess,
Yeah.
And then with Edelman, I mean, impact player in the playoffs, especially. He's arguably one of the greatest playoff receivers of all time.
Yeah, he was just always around to make the big catch.
But I mean, 3-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, obviously against the Falcons, he was fantastic. But, I mean, you look at his stats, 620 catches, 6,800 receiving yards, only 36 receiving touchdowns, no Pro Bowls. I mean, Hall of Very Good,
Yeah, it's, I don't know, wide receiver, I don't know. I saw a lot of stuff like if Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne aren't in the Hall of Fame, then he shouldn't be, and I completely agree, honestly.
Hines Ward too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Hines Ward too. Because Hines Ward always had that intangibles argument too, like Julian Edelman does. Like, he was always big in the playoffs and stuff like that. So if Hines Ward doesn't get in off that, I don't think Julian Edelman has any chance either. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, he was a really good slot guy for a while.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If he doesn't have like 1,000 catches and 10,000 yards, I mean, it's kind of tough. You'd have an argument, you know.
Yeah, and if you look at it, he's not really even that close to those numbers.
No,
you know?
Not even close at all. To be honest.
I obviously a lot of Pats fans are gonna say he should be in there. I've seen even outside of that, there's people saying he should be in there.
Yeah.
But when people started bringing up other receivers that aren't in the Hall of Fames, I mean, like it or not, championships alone are not going to get you in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
He'll probably be in the Patriots Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
which is
no
a good
doubt.
feat. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. He's a Super Bowl champion. No one can take that away from him.
Right.
He was a really good receiver. Don't get me wrong.
And for being picked in the 7th round, he did more than enough than he was expected to do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he came in and filled the Wes Welker. I mean, and did the exact same things as he did.
Yeah, kind of maybe an upgrade in some aspects. But I don't think he'll have a problem. You know what I mean, with not making the Hall of Fame. Like
not.
he knows what his career numbers are and everything, and you know he came up big. He without Edelman there, I mean, the Patriots might not win one or two of those championships. So he did what he needed to do. But both these players, very good players, but like you said, I just don't think they're Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, completely agree.
One last thing we could touch on NFL wise, drafts coming up. Trevor Lawrence had a thing with Sports Illustrated where he was saying that he's the quarterback, doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. He's comfortable with where he's at. He knows his skills. I mean, we've seen this from him throughout his college career. He's just kind of clearly the best quarterback there is in college. So no reason for that. Some fans kind of took that to heart and were saying like, "Oh, this is why we need to like." If I was a GM, I'd pick Justin Fields because he has more of a chip on his shoulder. He's been through adversity. So Trevor Lawrence comes out and he has this statement. I mean, whatever, you know. I think he's going to be fine on the next level. Arguably, I mean, he's in shape right now to be the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I honestly am surprised he even addressed it.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That just like
rubbed him the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
So he just needed to come out and say it. But
yeah,
I mean, people are making kind of a big deal about it. But
yeah, I just hope that's not like a thing where he just like can't take hate on social media.
Yeah, that might be. And then we'll see maybe a really good player like a Kevin Durant situation
I was
going
gonna
on.
say like the KD syndrome where he just replies to people with 3 followers.
Like Kevin Durant's he's a top 5 talent the NBA's ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's just like going at it with random people on Twitter, which is I kind of like I respect it almost in a sense. Like it's entertaining to see, but it's like, why do you even care, dude?
He's
like,
always ready to clap back at someone.
Oh,
always.
Yeah. And then also with Trevor Lawrence, he thanks Jaguars fans, and he says, "We really appreciate the wedding gifts and our donations for charities of our choice. In addition to the donations, Marissa and I will be donating $20,000 to charities in Jacksonville." I mean, if that doesn't say that the first pick's a lock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's some people like, oh, Justin Fields. I mean, I don't know. He's a top 3 quarterback, I'd say. But if I'm a GM, honestly, I might draft Zach Wilson over Justin Fields.
Yeah, I think so. But who knows? The Jets maybe. I don't know. They may have fell in love with Fields. Who knows? There's a lot of smoke screens and stuff going on.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I mean,
it's
it's just kind of funny to. I feel like I haven't seen this before. Like a guy's thanking a team for all this stuff before the draft even happens.
Yeah.
It's like this is probably the biggest lock we've seen in a while.
I know they couldn't spice it up and make the fans more interested.
No, everybody already knows. Like. It's just funny. Even like before the college football season started, everybody kind of knew that Lawrence would be the first pick.
I feel like ever since he came in as a freshman, everyone was just anticipating the class.
Oh yeah. What were you saying before we started this about the playbook?
Oh, someone made a joke. I don't know if this is like a serious thing or not, but they basically like handed him the playbook already.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's funny to see that like this kid who hasn't even been drafted yet is already receiving things from Jacksonville. I wonder if that's like legal to even do. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe like some sort of like scouting thing. I don't know.
They're like, oh, here's a bunch of wedding gifts. Like, come here. You're gonna be in Jacksonville soon. I mean, the draft's coming up, right?
Yeah,
It's got to be
end
very
of April.
soon. Yeah, there you go. So, it's gonna be interesting to see which quarterbacks go where in the draft, and just I don't know the first round. See how the Bears pick with all that, and then but the first pick in the draft it's a lock.
Yeah, it's a lock.
Yeah, no doubt. Anything else you want to?
No.
There's like we said, there's not a whole lot going on in the sports world right now.
Yeah, with the draft coming up and baseball continuing and the Blackhawks and Bulls falling to their doom.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah.
There'll be more to talk about.
Yeah, no doubt. So a little bit shorter of an episode this week, but that's not always a bad thing. All right, so thank you guys for joining us this week. This episode of the Glacier Guys will be on the Glacier, and the library will also post it to SoundCloud and YouTube as usual. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will talk to you next week.
Peace.